Yo!
Hello.
What's up, everyone? Hope y'all are doing well on a Monday.
Monday.
Last Monday of April. Pretty interesting.
Wow. April goes by quickly.
It does. It does. I am Chad Smith,
And Tyranny Smith.
and we are the hosts of the Oklahoma Show at the Voice of College Football YouTube channel. And find us on Twitter, obviously. We stream now, which is every Monday at, well, we're a little late. Look, we had work, okay? Sorry, people.
Also, Chad got bamboozled.
I did.
He was
by
going to
the-
get me
yeah.
a new treadmill, and he went to go pick it up, and it didn't go past pretty much a walking pace.
The
So,
fakest treadmill I've ever seen in my life. It was unbelievably bad. So yeah, that happened. So I got home a little later and I thought, got to eat because I'm starving. And then, now we're here, but we're ready to go. I think we're all good. Why is this not moving? Yeah, I'll just keep it like that, I guess.
I'm not the tech person here.
It's all good.
I am not in charge of that. There's no mouse on my side, so alas.
Got a few things that happened over the weekend for sure. We got some Sooners drafted in the NFL.
We did?
Which we're going to talk about. We had a sweep of the Texas
We
Longhorns.
really did.
And some news broke a while ago about the NCAA house settlement, which I think is going to be interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit
That's
as well.
Chad's area. I'm here to listen to the legalities.
And we're going to talk about some people that went in the portal as well, and just also going to make sure that we talk about some teams and other things that happened too. So I guess let's get started. T. Well, first off, how you been? I haven't talked to you all day.
I know. We haven't talked to. Good. It was a pretty easy day.
Doing well?
I had like 7 kids scheduled for the end of the day, and 5 of them canceled. So I just took kids from other therapists so they can have.
That's very nice
So
of
they
you.
weren't seeing a ton of other kids while I saw 2.
That's actually nice. Look at that's sweet.
I know, but it was good. They all went well, so it was fun. It's my student's last week with me though, so it makes me kind of sad.
Sure, his students last week.
Yep, her last day is with me Thursday. I know. Sad. How was your day?
Good,
Oh,
really good. Yeah,
Y'all are busy.
yeah. We have a lot of stuff going on. Talking about a class action, which is actually kind of fitting because that's what the house settlement is right now. So it's kind of nice to kind of go through that and see the elements and all that, and how
There you
the
go.
court is kind of
Sooner
considering.
Cowboys just said Moser just landed a 5-star from my neck of the woods. Transfer from Bama. Yeah, he did. What was it? 6'8"? It's a pretty tall human.
Yeah, dude.
Former McDonald's All-American.
bring it up.
Porter
We can bring it
Moser's
up.
been going hard in the paint of the transfer portal.
He's gonna have a squad next year. I think we are. I mean, of course, the girls are gonna be as good as everyone I believe projects them to be, but or thinks they're gonna be with her coming in. But there's something on the rise in the horizon. I think with Porter Moser. I don't know what rainbow they followed after the storms a couple weeks ago, but they found a pot of gold at the end of one of them because they are dropping bags on people.
There you go. Or, I mean, yeah, maybe some people just finally donated some more NIL, or maybe it's Trey Young becoming an assistant GM. I mean, that cannot hurt.
No,
And Corrections 101 says, Chad, you're an attorney, right? Yes, he is.
I am. Yeah, shockingly.
He
Shockingly.
is.
I wanted to bring up just to show the guy that the recruit we got from Alabama, just so everyone can kind of see this real quick. It's always scary to share your screen. Not that I'm worried about anything, but just making sure I share the right one and whatnot. Here's who we got. Looks like it. Now I'm not. That's 4 for Porter Moser. Now listen, I've seen this guy's tweets a lot. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. All love to him, Bob P. PPR. That's 4 for Porter Moser. Sooners. That might be it. Sooners land commitment from former Alabama forward Darion Reed. I'm so bad with names. I gotta stop. I gotta be better than that. Tay Davis, Nigel Pack, Xavier Brown, and now Reed.
I hate to be rude. I hate how Xavier's spelled.
So a big pickup. He's got some real dudes coming in for sure, and I'm excited about that.
I think he was. This guy was like top 40 in the portal too. So
I mean, and you got to think that the only way you're getting
I
these
saw
guys
some
is
Bama
money.
fans that were like upset about. I gotta stop saying like that were upset about the transfer. Not upset, like mad, but just wondering. Wait, why'd he leave? Or you know, whatever. So that's always a good sign if the other team generally didn't want to lose him. Genuinely.
There's a There's a
Okay, wait. This guy's Jonathan's telling us how to say his name. Prisbillo?
There we go, yeah.
Prisbillo?
Persbillo. Okay.
So what's the Y there for?
Persbillo. There's not a, oh, well, it's probably Czech or something. I don't know. I just totally made that up. I hope I don't know. There's a couple Sooners that were drafted. You had one, Danny Stutzman, and you had Billy Bowman.
Yes.
Interesting conversation I think we can get into in a little bit is what people were asking what this says, and actually on our community page on YouTube, they asked, what does this say about Brent Venables? And I think it might be a fun conversation to have for a few minutes. Just what do we think? It's I don't know. I don't want to foreshadow because I can go on tangents. We learned that last week. So I'm just going to say I think it'll be an interesting conversation whenever we get there.
Okay.
So selected by the New Orleans Saints, one Danny Stutzman. It is as the 10th pick in the 4th round, 112th overall. Was a consistent All-American, recorded 367 tackles, ranking 9th in OU history. Gonna be a stud. There are some, I think people were kind of shocked it took him so long to get drafted, which, fair enough. We are Danny Stutzman fans, and we want him to go as high as he can. I think the NFL just has some challenges that he just doesn't see in college, and one of them is lateral quickness, and I've talked to my dad about this too, and like hip dexterity. How quickly can you get in passing lanes, cover ground? It's so much faster in the league that for a lot of guys, that's really where the differences or challenges are. Is just the athleticism aspect of it. I'm not worried about that for a guy like Danny. He's shown he's willing to put the work in, and he has the mind for football, and he's just a football player. But that was kind of in my opinion, the reason why he fell, quote unquote. Listen, at the end of the day, the goal is to get in the league. Once you get in the NFL, I don't care if you get an invite to a team, if you have to do a free undrafted free agent, your goal is to make a roster. And once you do, there's you don't know what can happen.
Right.
But he got the hard part accomplished. He's in the league. So from now on, it's just about building on top of that and continuing to improve as a player.
Right. And as you mentioned, it's not Danny's never been one that shied away from hard work. So if there is something that he needs to work on, I 100% see him in there getting better at it, the best that he can. I do think it's fascinating, all the different measures that NFLs look at.
Yeah.
Because it's truly wild. I mean, I'm surprised they're not looking at how long your fingernails are. Like they're measuring your arm length, your hand size, your shoe size, your
they really are.
thigh size, like all the different quicknesses, and like you said, like hip dexterity. They're probably out there literally moving to see like, oh, he's like, he can go 45 degrees easily, but now, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's so much science behind it. It truly blows my mind.
Yeah.
How detailed that they are. I mean, because we had a friend who said, he went to his combine. He's like, like they're measuring, they were upset because my arms weren't long enough.
Same with Will Compton.
Yeah, it just was wild.
Hey, the guy was the best lineman in college football for 2 years, gave up one sack his entire college career, and they're like, well, maybe his arms are a little short. You know what else they said that about? Jason Kelsey.
Well, he proved them wrong.
I mean, so again, it's all about just getting in the league. If you can get in there, then
you can prove yourself.
Yeah, you can prove yourself, and all bets are off. So wanted to share.
Sometimes other times, like the numbers are deceptive. Like, you can get all the numbers you want, but like that doesn't, like you said, account for hard work or willpower. Honestly, I mean, just being a smart. Stacy's here. I was just wondering where Stacy was. It doesn't just always account for like those types of metrics that can't be measured. Metrics that can't be measured. Wow. Good words, Tyranny.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Let's show this video of the Saints calling Danny to let him know they're about to draft him, and I want to get to some comments here that I think are pretty pertinent to the situation as well. So we're getting better at sharing the screen, by the way. Oh, we'll want to make sure that's shared. Let us know if you hear it. Let us know if you can't, but here we go.
Danny.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jeff Ireland. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Is your family around you? Tell your damn dad to answer the phone. I was going to call him to tell you that we were taking you. Hey, I'm going to listen. Tell your dad and Susie hello, and I'm going to put you on the phone with Kellen Moore here. Here he is.
Danny, we are so fired up to get you here. Celebrate this thing with your family, have so much fun. We love evaluating you and watching you through this whole process, and we're fired up to get you.
Danny.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jeff Ireland. How you doing, man?
There you go.
I love that Papa Tops.
Yeah.
Catching a stray.
Kind of didn't answer his phone. Jonathan says he would have been drafted earlier if his dad would have picked up the phone. Yeah, he probably had a second round pick that he just didn't get answered. That's hilarious.
Could you imagine? Speaking of which, all those prank calls, who does that?
I don't
It's
know.
just a
It's kinda
side
messed
note.
up.
That's just a messed up thing to do.
Yeah,
losers,
I mean,
losers do that.
It's like I get people think it's funny, but like, could you
It's
imagine?
not.
Like, man, that'd be brutal.
But think about it for anything. If any job have you applied for, if somebody called you saying, "Oh, you got this job," and then you didn't, it's can we just be nicer humans, please? But I digress.
No, for sure. So Jonathan says that about Danny. You're probably 100% right. Center Cowboys brings up this. This was the 2021 recruiting class. It was the last of the Mule Shoe recruits. Let's see what BV's recruits do this season. Danny and Billy, both stayed on with BV. 100% true. And I think we're going to see a lot more. I know there was a pall or a worry with the lack of the low number of draft picks we
We
had.
didn't even have many eligible.
Right, and I think that goes into it. We were a young defense. We were number one in terms of freshman and sophomore snaps last year, and then the year before that, we were, I think, number 2, number 3. So we're not an old team, So I think these next few years you're really going to start to see a lot of Oklahoma Sooners in the draft,
Especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
I'm hoping on
absolutely.
the offensive side of the ball under Ben Arbuckle that also increases, but definitely already on the defensive side of the ball there's going to be an increase in numbers, which I hate it for us because that means we're going to be losing a lot of talent. But
I know.
Hopefully we're just reloading.
Right. Billy Bowman also picked by the Atlanta Falcons, the 16th pick in the 4th round, 118th overall. He had 11 career interceptions, 251 interception return yards, scoring 4 defensive touchdowns in his final 2 seasons. And here is a video of the Falcons. Sorry, I was scratching my leg there. Making the call to
That was
Billy
driving
and
you
letting him know. Yeah, that was driving too crazy. It's funny. Letting him know that they're about to take him.
Billy Bowman Jr. What's going on? You ready to be a Falcon, man? Hey, I ain't never been more ready. Hey, y'all made the right choice. I guarantee that. Hey, we have no question. You waited long enough. I don't know why you waited this long, but this was meant to be, all right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You ready to come here and compete? Hey, I'm itching to get there now. All right, I'm going to put you on the phone with Raheem Morris, and then you're going to talk to our owner, Arthur Blank, all right? All right, yes, sir, cool. All right, man. Billy, what's up, Coach? Congratulations, man. Yes, sir, I appreciate it, man. Yeah. Hey, man, we're fired to get you, man. The man of your character, the man that you are, the stuff that you do to the game, man, we are so fired up and happy to coach you. You got a bunch of happy coaches right here right now, and a bunch of happy personnel people, bro. Yes, sir, for sure. Hey, man, here's our owner, Mr. Blank. All right, let's do it.
Hey, Billy, how are you? It's Arthur Blank.
What's up, Mr. Blank? I'm great, man. I'm blessed.
Well, good. We're also blessed. We're also blessed having you part of the Falcon family. We'll look forward to having you here in our facility and getting a chance to spend some time with you, and I look forward to meeting you. But congratulations. You had a great career for sure, and I know you bring all that great stuff to the NFL. So on behalf of the Falcons, so take care. Sure. You travel safely, and say family look forward to meeting them as well. Okay?
Yes, sir. I look forward to meeting all of y'all. I'm ready to roll. Yes, sir.
Great. Perfect. Thank you, Bill.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Arthur Blank.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I love all of the yes sirs, and I mentioned that in the video. The first one was like, I just love that so much because so many kids, he's an adult, but you get what I'm saying. They're like, yeah. It's like the yes. Ugh.
Yes,
well
sir.
done. Yes and yes sir. Like just the respect it is behind it, and then the video, which you might end up finding it, but of him like tearing up right after.
Yeah, we'll play those. Yeah. I'm gonna play the one by Danny. I don't know why we didn't play this, or why I didn't have this linked, but I want to show this. This is kind of the coolest part about it all.
Thank you.
That's it. I'm a Saint.
That'd be so wild to have that. Imagine getting drafted. That'd be so cool. I'm gonna try to find the Billy Bowman clip real quick.
It would be so fun.
That'd be one of the neatest experiences as a family you could
Right.
have. One of your people you know is getting drafted to the NFL.
Right. Man, just all the joy, just the happiness. It's so. I'm so happy for them. I'm gonna miss Danny though. That's one player I'm gonna miss. I liked all of his interviews, like post games, just because of the maturity and the passion for OU. Just we're all gonna miss Danny and Billy because of the love of OU.
Man, we're gonna be solid though on defense. We were talking about this earlier. We have so much returning, and if having a quarterback, I cannot find the Billy Bowman video. It's gonna bother me. Having a quarterback like that we have now. And by the way, we saw him at the softball game. I have some thoughts on him. I think he's pretty solid, but there are just I think some really good things coming up for how good we're going to be defensively, and then especially with what we have coming back for offense with Mateer and all those guys. Problem.
We hope. Senior Cowboy says, I still miss Baker Mayfield. We all do, man. We all do. And Stacy said, I'm going to miss Billy.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was the best thing ever to go to Los Sooners.
Yep.
And hear, and everything they do is better in Spanish. It just, all of the highlights, I'd always go find the Spanish version. It was just fun. No, I mean, I say that. We all love Toby Rowland too, but I don't know. Hearing it in Spanish was always fun.
All right, well, since T had to carry that because I was trying to find this, let's go ahead and show it because this is the coolest thing. And
I'm
thank
already
you.
like tearing up.
She is. All right, this is Billy Bowman getting drafted.
With the 118th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, Billy Bowman.
Pretty neat.
Ugh, look.
Pretty neat.
I tear up at everything anyway, but man, grown men crying and like being passionate about things and like, I don't want to say being vulnerable, but like having that much emotion, just, so happy for him. I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy for everybody. When we watch the draft and I see, all the men crying and, they're hugging their moms and their dads, it just, man, I'm just happy for them.
Yeah.
I'm very empathetic, if y'all I haven't said that already.
Dude, she'll send me videos on Snap of like geese walking together. And I'm like, she's
I
like,
saw
look,
a
they love
geese
each other.
family leaving my work. It was so cute. I almost got attacked by Daddy Goose because I didn't see. I turned the
Goose.
corner and they were there, and I almost got attacked. But the geese, little baby geese,
So
goslings?
I think they're goslings. It doesn't matter. No OU players selected in the first 3 rounds. The last one to be picked in the first was the first rounder Tyler Guyton in 2024. So want to turn that around a little bit. There were also, I want to mention some people that were picked up even though they weren't drafted. Dejon Terry, defensive tackle. He signed with the Los Angeles Rams. He played his final 2 seasons at OU. After he played at Kansas and Tennessee, he had 39 tackles, 9 tackles for loss as a Sooner. Michael Tarquin, offensive lineman, signed with the Carolina Panthers. Tarquin appeared in 8 games with 7 starts in his only season with OU after transferring from USC. And then Ethan Downs, we all know who he is, signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's from Weatherford, Oklahoma, don't forget. Started 38 of 39 games over his final 3 seasons, logging 1,833 snaps.
Sheesh.
Crazy. Spencer Brown signed with Tampa Bay as well. And I believe that Caden Woolard, whose father is one of the great people ever, awesome guy, he accepted a mini camp invite with the Indianapolis Colts, which is a pretty cool deal. Jake Roberts, the tight end as well, received a mini camp invite from Kansas City and Las Vegas Raiders. He may have accepted one of those. I hadn't seen whenever I made this little outline I have, but again, it's been a day or two, so there we go.
For
Go ahead.
those that don't know what that means.
Mini camp invites are basically whenever you have your preseason camps that you have people that are your veteran players, your guys that are there every year. They aren't really going to mini camps if they're not mandatory. And it just allows you to try to make a practice squad or potentially a 53-man. Even if you make a practice squad, the league minimum in the NFL, I think, is like 750,000 now. So you're making that bare, and you're getting to play a game, play a sport for a living. So just making it, again, it's a foot into the door of a program. And there have been Hall of Famers that have been minicamp invitees that weren't drafted. So if you can get there, that's what it's all about. And for them to even have an opportunity is a big deal. So I hope all those guys do well. Obviously, you want to see them do well. Not only represents OU, but it's cool to see people achieve dreams and actually realize a dream. It's pretty awesome.
Or at least get a chance at it.
Right.
You know?
Like how much
some
of
people don't even get chances at their dreams. So do you get a chance? You just gotta make the most of it. If you don't make it, then
yeah.
So be it. But you got a chance, and that should be honored in and of itself. I know I mentioned on the pod before that Ethan Downs was one of my favorite players, just because Oklahoma kid.
Oh yeah.
Just hard worker. He did the little things right. He, again, what did we say? It was like, never mind, it was a meme about Tim Duncan and ice cream sandwiches. Never flashy. It's like never flashy, solid game, flashy. Consistent.
Hall of Fame numbers.
Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah.
It was just funny, but it just, like, Ethan Downs was consistent. He did the little things right. He paid attention to details. He was a leader, had a good head on his shoulders. And those are the things that coaches want. And so for me, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars got a steal with him personally. I think they're going to get a really good one, and they're going to see that. I'm sure they have already, but you're really, really going to see what they're going to get with him. And I was really happy for him as well, especially because he did do so well in the combine.
Also want to mention just real quick, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Trace Ford signed with the Giants. Just trying to make sure I don't miss any, and if I do, if the comments correct me, then that'd be nice. But Trace Ford with the Giants. Also, a quick recruiting update. We had Sooners 2026 QB commit, which is still in a weird area right now, and it's a weird vibe with the other quarterback that we're looking at. But Jaden O'Neal had a throwing session in Mustang today. This is Brandon Drum reporting. Ben Arbuckle was there, Joe John Finley, and a couple other. Also, Florida State's quarterback coach was there. UGA's offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo. All of them were there to watch Jaden O'Neal throw. So a talented kid. Hope it's just those times whenever you just see the cards kind of falling in a certain way, or you see the dominoes lining up. I just, with the commitment they have to Bo. I think, golly, I blanked on his last name. I think it's Bo.
Sorry, I honestly blanked entirely.
Jaden O'Neal is like, I just think he's going to end up at LSU. I mean, at Florida State. But if he does, obviously wish him the best again. But
it's also hard because he was committed to us before John Mateer came, who has, 2 years?
Yeah.
And then you have Michael Hawkins, who you would think was already going to be the backup. So, I mean, that's several years of quote-unquote waiting, which isn't the strong suit of some kids anymore, or like why? Why wait when you could just go play right away? So
Bo
I can't
Bentley.
blame them.
Right.
I would much rather a person decommit than leave in a transfer portal.
Right.
I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but that's just how I feel personally. I'd rather them decommit and just go somewhere else than like commit and then head to their transfer portal. But yeah, that is interesting. I've kind of been following that, but also like obviously he's a great recruit. You'd love to have him on your roster, but I understand we are in a different position at quarterback than we were when he signed. Does that make sense? Or not signed, sorry.
Randy.
Committed, but anyways. Harry and 1982, Boomer Sooner did say, are we going to watch the Inside OU Spring Football on the SEC Network at 8:30?
Yeah, I'm going to try. Probably. Yeah, absolutely. Some
anything
work to do, but
get
after
that football hit. Anything to get that football hit.
Seriously. So glad Joe John Finley there. Sure has a eye for talent at the tight end position. Maybe he's better than tight end. Sorry, I had to. Randy, I'm not going to lie. I'm worried that Bauer Sharp might be pretty good at LSU, which is not going to be fun to watch when they're in Norman. He was put in a terrible position.
Honestly.
I think we're going to look back. Now, Randy, you're not lying. No, I'm not saying you're wrong, because there is some. So he would like to see an elite player come and pan out. I just still think we're going to look back and realize that, man, he was put in such an impossible position to go from a guy who's going to be a supplemental piece, solid guy that you can
to be the guy.
Now you're supposed to be the number one when you were originally the number 4 or 5 option.
Right.
And now the defense knows that, so they're all focusing on you too.
My biggest thing with him is just more so the lack of blocking.
Yeah.
Because come on, bro.
Yeah.
But also, like you mentioned it. Your dad mentioned it. I know Gabe Eichard mentioned it when he had to try to block the guys from South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, what are you doing? Like, where did that matchup?
Well, you have him trying to block Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart. Like, I'm sorry, that's just not even on him. That's just, you don't put your guys out to just die. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
I
don't-
screened a lot of like 6 foot plus bigger girls than me, and it was granted they get fouls in basketball when they just run me over, but I've semi been there for my size, and
Randy agrees with me. I think the exact same thing about Ballard LSU. Yeah.
it's probably gonna happen.
Probably
And
gonna
Jackson
happen.
Arnold's probably gonna go off at Auburn,
It's going to be the worst thing
and Nick
ever.
Anderson's gonna have probably another great year at LSU too.
It's, but if they do, let me know. You can't have even better years with all the guys they have.
Sure.
And I think they will. Wanted to mention just some updates on the portal. Obviously, the spring window is still open. The guys that we have out right now, Devon Mitchell, tight end, entered April 4th. Peter Ska?
Sure.
Defensive
Schul?
back,
Schul?
redshirt
Is that an
junior.
L?
No, it's just SCHUH. Ska, I think. Sku. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
I think it's Shull.
Sure. There's no L.
I think it's like Shuh.
Peter Sh. Okay.
I don't
Peter
know.
Sh. Peter Shush. I wonder if he talked a lot and they had to change. No, I'm kidding. Defensive back, redshirt, entered April 16th. Jocelyn Malaska. Defensive back, redshirt junior, entered the 16th. Josh Isosa was a redshirt freshman. He entered April 18th and is at West Virginia. Peter Shue. Okay. Randy's just, I'm talking just.
Shoo.
Randy's
duh.
providing.
I was
he's
right
like
though.
a caddy
it is,
at the Masters.
It is a
You are right.
sh-
You are.
I was like, I'm pretty sure it's
I'll give you that.
I don't
I'll give you that.
remember.
Let's take that.
Don't remember the vowel. Sorry.
David Stone. He entered and then came back home
Yippee.
because he knew where to. Yeah, that's right.
Yay. We already talked about that.
Mikhail
Check out another
Patterson
video.
McDonald, unspecified. He is not. He's entered, but he has not committed anywhere. And then Sam Franklin also at least hasn't yet announced.
And
what
Gavin
is going on.
Sawchuk has entered the transfer portal as well.
Yep, Gavin Sawchuk entered this
Oh,
week.
sorry. Were you about to put that on the screen?
I had that prepared. I was so ready.
Sorry, I beat ya.
I
don't think that came as a shock to me once we got Jaden O'Neal. Wait, no, sorry.
Jaden
Jaden
Ott.
Ott.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I'm struggling. That Jaden O'Neal from what you just showed
You good?
got in my head. Anyways, once we got him, I was not surprised because I think I mentioned even in the last video when it came to running back or 2 videos ago that I thought X was 1, and
Yeah.
then
Try to stay
it's
in
hard to
frame here.
say that Javonte Barnes. It's hard to say that he wasn't going to be 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Gavin Sawchuk, we've all been waiting for him to have that breakout from what we saw in that bowl game.
True.
When he was a freshman. We've all been waiting for that and hadn't quite gotten it. We had heard following the Navy Bowl game from people from the grapevine that his family was looking for him to transfer, or they had wanted him to, but he didn't want to. He wanted to stay at OU and try to earn that spot, which I can respect all the way, but also if he felt like he wasn't going to get that 1-2 rotation spot, I don't blame him.
And you got to think they're gonna primarily focus on a Jaden Knott, a Xavier Robinson, and then Taylor Tatum after that, I would assume. And so he's going to be fourth in the
Javonte.
rotation. You still have
Javonte's
Javonte
not
Barnes.
yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think you see him enter. He loves it at OU, but I don't think those kind of guys you can blame because they're also young. Xavier's going to have 2 more years after this year. So is Taylor Tatum. It's just they're in a tough spot, but. So I just wanted to read what he said here. He said, Senior Nation, thank you for everything you've done for me. I couldn't have asked for a better 3 years of my life. Norman has been nothing but great to me from the moment I stepped foot on campus. Nothing but love and support. To my teammates, I couldn't ask for a better group of brothers. I love all you boys. To the coaches, thank you for the opportunity to pursue my dream of playing football. To Senior Nation, thank you for the memories I will never forget. At this time, I'd like to announce I'm entering the portal, excited for new opportunities. I think that was pretty well stated. It was... I think that it makes sense for him and for everyone involved to kind of let him
Right.
go his own way.
But his good news is brother's still on the team. So
Yeah. There's also, remember his true freshman year,
was
he
he
had
good?
he ended the last 7 games with 100 yards in each. I remember he had a crazy run because he was dealing with an ankle issue.
Right.
And then he had, I think, 7 straight games or 6 straight with 100 yards rushing or more.
Right. That's what I'm saying though. Like we kept waiting for that next step.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I know he battled injuries last year, as did everyone. So it's, I mean, it was just hard. And now there's so much depth in that wide receiver room and so much young talent
Right.
that, it might be time. And I hope wherever he goes, he gets a ton of playing time. And I hope if he plays against OU, He doesn't have a good game. No offense, Gavin.
One thing I don't want to overlook, though, is the importance of this move. Tate Sandell has committed to the University of Oklahoma, and he's a kicker from the portal. And I think it's actually going to be a pretty big deal that he's coming here. He has one miss, I think, within 50 yards right now, or inside 50 yards.
Knock on wood.
He was
doing it early.
Absolute nails, I think, overall. So his stats were 19 for 23 on field goal attempts in 2024 with only one miss inside 50 yards. So you know that they're sending him out for a lot of deep kicks if he has one miss inside 50, and he has 19 for 23 overall. So this is it's kind of what if you wanted to see what he, I can just share. If you wanted to see what he looked like, kind of, there you go. Wears the old famous Kickers Revolution helmet that has absolutely no protection at all. But going to be a good pickup. I think it's going to be one that we're going to not maybe give a lot of attention to. That'll end up being one of the more impactful next
Right,
season.
but I think that was important because people who went to the Sooner Combine or Crimson Combine, whatever the heck it was called,
Right.
everybody was like, kicker. We need a kicker. Because I guess whatever drill that they did, there were people that legit just thought that fans were out there trying to kick it.
Really?
Which was not good. I mean, that's not good to say.
good at
So
all.
the fact that that was pulled from the portal shows that that was what we were needed.
By the way, the Falcons owner, Arthur Blank, estimated worth $10.6 billion. He became most wealthy from co-founding the Home Depot. So my lawn thanks him. The Home Depot. What were you about to say there? Oh, go ahead and read that.
All right. So if you have your own business, get your business, product, service, or personal brand to the next level by partnering with the Voice of College Football. See what our partner, Win Agency, has to say about its sponsorship experience with us. Let's discuss how you can reach your target market. Contact us at sponsorships@VOCFB or the voiceofcollegefootball.com today.
Boom. There we go. We are going to get better at going into those. I think you can have a fun way of like tying those in just randomly, like lead-ins, like true pros. I think that'd be fun.
I was only a broadcast journalism major for 1 year, so I didn't quite get to that.
We can make
I was
it up
with
as we
people
go.
who were better at that.
We can make it up as we go. All right. Let's move on real quick. There was an update on NIL, which we all care about. I know. There was an update in the House settlement.
Y'all ready for some legalities?
Where the judge had a hearing finally. It was April, I believe it was actually May 7th is whenever she issued, or she this
May
deadline.
7th.
No, it was April. Sorry, I'm looking up and trying to find my notes here. It was early April, I think the 14th, maybe. She had her first April 7th, and then April 14th was the response date. And then the 23rd was her ruling. So the House settlement was, in case you haven't been following, it's just a kind of a landmark case. It's trying to reshape how college athletics deals with paying student athletes. It would allow schools to pay athletes directly, and just really kind of streamline and make easier the ability to budget and kind of decide how you're going to move forward in that regard. So the U.S. District Judge that it was in front of, Judge Claudia Wilkin, held a hearing. Her hearing was in Oakland, California for the settlement, which resolved the three major antitrust issues that they had. So there was a concern that she had with the roster limit. So if you didn't know, they were wanting to, one of the issues in the settlement was to limit rosters to 105 total spots. And that there were going to be scholarship, but 105 total. So that includes practice players and includes everybody. And the issue that she had was a cap like that, she believed, would not protect players from losing roster spots. And she questioned the regulation by third party, basically NIL payments. And the problem that I think she's having is there's almost, I think it was a total of around 5,000 total spots cut across all of the NCAA sports if it was approved. And she really just she didn't want to, I don't know, there are certain factors, I guess, that you would really worry about whenever you're looking at a class case, and one of them is fairness and whenever, I guess, this settlement part comes up. But she didn't think it would be fair for them to have to lose roster spots when they had nothing to do with the fact they're there in the first place. So her idea, she said that, the court, she ruled that, she said she could not approve the agreement unless it was changed to mitigate the harm caused by the immediate implementation of roster limits. She also stated that the court finds that the decision by defendant in NCAA member schools to begin implementing the roster limits before The court granted final approval of settlement agreement is not a valid reason for approval of the agreement in its current form. So one of the arguments they made whenever she said she's worried about this is she says, well, Judge, a lot of them said, Judge, we've already cut our rosters. We've already done this. That, what is the issue with letting other teams do what we are already doing? We've hurt ourselves. And it's one of those, like, you're taking a risk whenever you act before a ruling comes down, even if you think it's high probability. And I think there's a high probability this gets fixed. They're going to end up either agreeing to the grandfather in idea she has, or just, having a hard cutoff, I think. But she was saying she goes on, she says, my idea is to grandfather in a group of rostered people. There are not that many. It's not that expensive. It would generate a lot of goodwill. Now, I'm not really someone who has a lot of sympathy for the goodwill aspect of it. I think if it makes sense, it makes sense. But, I guess if you're worried about goodwill and stuff, then there you go. She also said there's also an idea you could phase in, and that would be, I think, one option. I don't know. I believe whatever is most simple and most efficient would be my idea. And the reason is, the reason why they wanted roster limits is because whenever you start doing the sharing of revenue, and they're going to do that by averaging, they're going to average, I believe it's 8 schools, and they take the highest and lowest out, and they average that, and that's how much money gets shared between the universities. And for budgeting reasons, or for future prospecting of how much you can afford in the portal, they wanted a set number of roster spots so that they didn't have to worry about another 20 guys coming in or whatever it is whenever they're not prepared for it, or another team being able to buy more roster spots and buy more players. And it was another way the court thought it would be more fair to the non high earning schools. And the issue that, again, she found was just it cut too much out. And so I'm thinking that in my opinion, they're just going to agree with the grandfathering in. It's the easiest thing. The judge has already said that would be her idea. If you're trying to get the settlement done before it's still implemented by July 1st, you're going to have to find a way to do it as quickly as possible. And I think that's the only way that that's going to happen. Because even if they do the phase-in aspect, you got to have a plan for that. You can't just say, you got to literally go through each aspect of it, submit that to the court, have them look at it, rule on it. They're going to look at it, one adjustment. You got to then make the adjustments, then refile those adjustments with the court, have another hearing, and all that stuff has a back and forth to it. If you file something, you have to give the other party time to respond. And so, unless they're working cohesively and together, then that might be a little more done more quickly. But other than that, I think they're just going to agree to grandfather in, and they're going to just bite the bullet in that sense. And whatever moves the ball quickly is, what they're going to do. So, again, if they risk a trial and it fails, it can cause. So if they don't settle and they go to trial and it goes to a jury, the risk in that is you're going to lose a lot more than $2.8 billion, a whole lot more. Especially for if they get, because what's your demographic going to be if you're going voir dire, as it's called, and you're picking a jury? It's going to be younger men, primarily. No offense, ladies, but it's going to be younger men that probably grew up playing NCAA football video games and that want to pay players. And you're telling me that they're going to look at the NCAA and not want to just absolutely hit them with a number that's going to make your jaw drop? It's going to be ridiculous. So they have a motivation to settle too. The NCAA does, and so I think do the players and the schools, because it's like we talked about last week. They want to have a way to have some sort of coherence with what's going on right now, and some sort of ability to rein in, I think, the craziness of the portal and of the NIL era.
Right.
And it allows them in a way, because Congress, for whatever reason, can't get their act together. It allows them to kind of have a way to get...
Not new.
Yeah, exactly. To get a way to kind of legislate and really get some guidelines put in and laws put in that kind of will make it more fair and make it to where, even though the NCAA, like we talked about again last week, has been unfairly criticized in this situation a lot, there has been... at some point you just have to accept where you are and just move on and try the best you can to make new laws.
I also think the NCAA, like what you mentioned, settling, they just want something. Everything else they've tried has gotten turned down, turned away. And so it's like, give us something. You know what I mean? Like, we have to find some way to try to fix it. Again, like you said, we already mentioned in our last episode and probably a million other ones that this is, regardless, it's still going to be crazy.
Yep.
And other sports are going to be lost at universities, and until the government steps in, there's really not much that can be done. Nope.
So this is the part you're right. This is the part I was looking for earlier in my notes here. So in a class action settlement, a federal judge has to ensure that the agreement is three things really: fair, reasonable, and adequate. under Rule 23E. So the federal rules of civil procedure are what they operate by, and actually most state rules are modeled after the federal rules of civil procedure. So they're fairly similar in even state courts. But Judge Wilkin insisted that protecting current athletes reflects this duty. So she thought displacing them can unfairly harm a subset of the class, and so she's invoking equitable relief principles. And equitable relief means it's not really based in law. It's just the judge. It's actually what a lot of family law courts are based off. They're courts of equity, not courts of law, really. So they can look at remedies or they can look outside of just the bounds of law to make decisions. So that's what she's doing in this case too. She's saying that you might legally be able to do this even, but it's just so unfair to a certain subset of the class that I'm not going to allow it without certain adjustments. Which it's fine. It happens. The settlement stems from an antitrust lawsuit again that the NCAA that alleged the NCAA limited athletes' earning potential. So roster cuts would be seen as further anti-competitive harm and reduce opportunities without justification. It's going to get to a point where they're going to have to finally define what it means to reduce opportunities, because that's it's almost a argument that proves too much in a way. It's just, you say that about anything, and the court will just rule in favor of the player for in this case the universities against the NCAA. But hopefully it gets worked out. I know we all want it. I know the NIL thing is cool in a sense, and that it allows players to make some money in certain ways, but I think most of us have been kind of black-pilled, I guess you could say, about a lot of it. It's become an issue in that there's just nothing that you can really predict. We talked about it last week. It's hard to even get as excited as we are for a lot of these players that are coming in or committing, or even in high school. It's just they can be gone after 1 year, and now you got all that excitement. You spent all that money and invested all this time, and they're gone.
Right.
They're gone. That sounded like we just lost a fan. But you know what I mean. Everyone knows what I mean, hopefully. So anyways, that's an update on the House settlement. I think it's an interesting thing.
Anybody have any questions
I'm a nerdy, but
for Chad about the House settlement? Because sometimes people have a specific question, and maybe you'd be able to answer it.
Yeah. On this day in history, by the way, I didn't realize this. It's actually a sad thing. I didn't realize. Joe McKenzie tragically passed away at the age of 37 due to a heart attack. McKenzie, who took over as head coach in 1966, led OU to a 6-4 record in his only season, including a notable victory over Texas in the Red River rivalry, the first since 1957. Yeah, he had a 9-year drought. He won 9-7, I believe. 9-7. Can you imagine how boring it was to watch those games back in the day? 9-7. A 2-yard run you had to erupt. He went positive.
Oh my god.
Anyways, assistant coach Chuck Fairbanks succeeded him, marking a pivotal moment in OU football history. So, yeah. Let's move on to, in case we see a question pop up, but we may not. So let's move on to other sports. I know you have, I know, some things to say about what we witnessed over the weekend.
Right.
Get your
So
brooms out.
I admittedly softball fan through and through. I've also admitted I don't watch a lot of baseball, so sorry for not covering them through this, but sorry.
There's
But
also, to be fair, a lot of people that report on
there
on
are.
baseball and
There's
stuff.
other people that enjoy baseball. I've tried. I'm just a softball fan through and through. And so Texas came in, so they come to Oklahoma. They play Oklahoma State first, win 1-0. I watched that game and could not decide what I was cheering for. A meteor is what I was cheering for, honestly. But not the point. And so they got a win there from one Oklahoma school, but not another.
Boo.
And so they come into Norman, and what happens? They get swept. Imagine returning they returned a majority of their best players, and they still lost.
Still
They
lost.
got swept by a new team, by this rebuilding team, and it's phenomenal. And I know the first game we had, a 6-0 lead, and now they did make it a game. To their credit, they did not quit, which is quite annoying.
Yeah. True.
But I can respect it from an athlete point of view, from a former athlete. I respect the not quit. From a fan point of view, annoying. But we still won game 1. Sam Lange threw a heck of a game. Game 2, we were there, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We got there early to have the gymnastics girls sign a poster for us, so that was really cool. And they got honored before the game for their natty that they brought home.
That was
and we were up 7-0. We ended up winning 7-2. Kirsten Deal, look, girl, I've been able to go to 2 games this year, both of which you pitched, and you pitched phenomenal. So if you need a little Mexican girl good luck charm, I'll gladly go to all your games. You can slide me over a friends and family
Right.
ticket.
Just
man-
seems right.
Yes, Kirsten Deal was wheeling and dealing, and it's so funny. So my middle name is Kristen,
Yeah.
and my dad said, "Come on, Kristen." At one point, my mom and I looked over like, "It's Kirsten," and he goes, "Okay, come on." And then like later in innings, "Let's go, Kirsten." And we're like, Kirsten. And finally mom goes, "Just say Deal." And it was funny because he just couldn't
Poor
get
cut.
it in his head. I know he couldn't get that vowel right.
One of the smartest men I've ever met, and whatever it is.
And he never
It's no big
forgets
deal.
names, is what's crazy. He could tell me a name of some girl I played in like 6th grade at a tournament. I'm like, don't know. So it was just kind of funny to see him struggling with that. But man, she pitched a heck of a game. I was really happy for her. And I mean, that was good for us. Good for us to
Yeah.
see. Sunday was less fun. It was fun until it wasn't. We got up 8-0. 8-0.
A Dylan Gabriel to nothing. Who?
And-
I didn't get to talk about that, and we will before we go.
And they came back. Isabella Smith, I was so happy for her. She pitched 3 innings in a hit.
Number 8, right?
Yeah,
A lot of 8s right now.
I believe. Wow, yeah. She pitched 3 innings, and that was the best I feel like I've seen her pitch
Yeah.
all season.
Dicing
she
people
was,
up.
Yes, she was in the zone. I was so happy for her on
Yep.
senior night. Also, her mom seems like she's so fun. She seems like she's a good sense of humor, just
Yeah.
positive
Yeah.
energy, and man.
I love Stacey.
He will. And she seems like a lot of fun, but I digress. She pitched a heck of a game. We pulled her. I wasn't a part of the decision, but like OU pulled her and put in Lowry, who has been injured with a hamstring injury, kind of been day by day. They kind of jumped on her early. We tried Monticelli, who they jumped on, and they ended up having a 6-run inning. No. Yes, they had a 6-run inning, I believe. And then we put in Sam Landry, who
Yeah.
unfortunately had to go in at a very, very tough moment. And I did tweet that, like, just what sucks for her is the fact that she's having to come in and basically save the day against a very, very competent team at the plate, which is just a tough situation.
Yeah.
Facts. And somebody goes like, "Oh, I think Patty knows what they're doing." I'm like, that's not even what I said. Like, I just stated the fact this is a tough situation for a pitcher to go into. What? Anyways, people can't read on Twitter, but just want to get that out there because that's bothered me. I'm like, some of the comments I'm getting, I'm like, that's not what I said, but okay. And I have to. Chad tells me, Tierney, they have no face, they have no name
Join
on
the
there.
dark
Like,
side.
just go.
I love it. Love it.
But anyways,
Hold on. My nephew Morgan's number 8.
it's my nephew too.
Oh, yeah. It's Steve's nephew, too.
It's our nephew. But okay.
Oh, yeah. We're married. That's funny.
Yeah, in case you forgot.
Who has the ring on right now? Dang it. Dang, I thought I had one.
No. But they got a 2-run home run on Sam Landry, but then to tie the game. But then after that, she shut them down, man. And you could tell, like the announcers were even talking about it, that she looked a little tense when she first got out there. Rightfully so. Again, as I mentioned, that's a tough situation to go
Right.
into.
Right.
You've already pitched a game, and you're coming in when they're on fire. I mean, and here's the thing: like you could pitch as well as you want. You could pitch, even stuff out of the zone. And when they're on fire like that, they can just connect, and it just goes.
Yep.
And so like that makes it a really hard situation. But man, she ended up stepping up, closing out the game for us. We ended up winning the game, finishing that sweep, which was just so fun. We had we had some people on Twitter trying to cry that we boo Mike White. Deal with it. He's
Yeah.
a grown man. They're like, it's more than a game. I'm like, y'all act like we're like slashing his tires and throwing eggs at him and God knows what else. Like what they're implying.
Acting like we're flipping him off.
Yeah.
Like he flipped off everybody
we're
at the
booing
women's
him.
college.
What is he,
World
like
Series.
60? He can't handle some booze?
Yeah.
Like, come on. And then somebody tried to say something in that, like, we cheered because a foul ball almost hit him. I'm like, no. When the foul ball happened, the crowd did the usual, like, oh, because we saw it go towards the dugout.
Yeah.
Clearly saw nobody got hit, but it almost hit the assistant coach or Mike White on the foot. So, being petty, we just cheered, like, haha, yeah, do it again,
Yeah.
jokingly, as everyone would do.
Right.
And the Texas coaches started laughing at that, and then the assistant coach started being like, "Oh, oh, oh!"
Yeah,
oh,
it was a
oh,
joke.
oh,"
I mean, it's funny.
like head on
Yeah.
a swivel. Like it was a funny moment, and people try to make that so much more than it was, and it was just so annoying. And I was telling Chad, I was like, "You're trying to tell me that if it's the Red River rivalry talk about how quickly did I say that? That was some
That was
good
pretty
R's.
impressive. Yep. that was.
At the Cotton Bowl is happening, and quarterback throws a pass, it goes through a receiver's hands and hits a coach on the body, and we can tell he's not injured. Do you think the other opposing fans are gonna be like, yeah?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's just part of the game. Like if you're that upset about it, you're either completely biased or have zero sense of humor. If anybody
Or
had
worse,
actually,
you're both.
or both.
Or even worse,
But it
you're a
was funny.
Texas
I mean,
fan.
it was funny because the Texas coaches found it funny, and the players kind of giggled too. Like, calm down. They're like, stay classy. I'm like, whatever. Go ahead. And then I love it
These
more.
people are
So
the
it's like,
worst.
y'all boo him. Y'all need to stay classy. I'm like, oh, let me get this straight. He can imply that our girls are on supplements. He can imply that our coach is a cheater, and he can flip off fans. He didn't flip off our fans, but he flipped off. I mean, and I guess
entire
maybe
stadium.
the umpires, but he flipped off the stadium, and we're told to stay classy for
But
booing him.
I can kind of
Again, we're not slashing his tires.
Not
We're
saying
not
that's a deal
causing
breaker,
him
but, yeah.
bodily harm.
Right.
We're not doing any. We're not insinuating. We're booing him. Like
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I'm
sports.
whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's just some people just have a
People just don't like Oklahoma and want to find anything to complain about. And so I guess wave that flag, wave that hate flag.
That
You
is
do
wild.
you,
Like,
boo-boo.
there is legit hate for Oklahoma softball and gymnastics. Really,
Yes, the
they wanted
gymnastics.
that. They were there, by the way. They were there before the game. We got to see our good friends, the OU gym team.
I mentioned that.
Our
already,
good
but
friends. We got to see. We mentioned it where.
I heard you mention that we met them and they signed it and they were announced before. But thanks for listening.
Wait, what? Oh, you already mentioned. Oh, wow.
Some
I
Texas
was
fans that chant "OU sucks" in their fight song, but mad at us for booing. Thank you. It is, and people are like,
pull
it's
this up.
bigger than a rivalry. I'm like, if that foul ball had genuinely like hit someone in the head and knocked him out, nobody would have cheered for that. And honestly, had somebody cheered, they would have been punched in the throat by somebody in the stands. Like, come on, like don't spread misinformation. Don't spread the fake news. We
Don't-
got enough of that in life.
Hey,
Don't
yeah.
be doing that. It was just annoying. But again,
Stacey, people have lost their sense of humor. Yes, they have.
yes, they have. Mike White's a grown man. He can handle some booze from a bunch of people who he doesn't even know. But alas, I went on way too long at that. At the end of the day, they return essentially all their best players.
Mm-hmm.
Get split by Oklahoma.
Now, that was awesome to see. But you know what else is awesome to see? When you have a take that is probably when a kid is in high school,
Okay.
and let's say this kid went to South Lake Carroll, and that he had a mullet at the time that looked absolutely horrible. But let's say he was the first ever perfect rated recruit. And then let's say he goes to Texas. Or let's say he goes to Ohio State after leaving high school for a year early. Mm-hmm. Then let's say he didn't play at Ohio State. He
Okay.
transfers to Texas. And his name's Quinn Ewers. And then let's say that I don't know, watching him play his first few games, I'm like, not that impressed. Don't think he's that good. Now, I'm talking relative to the highest rated recruit in the history of recruiting. Perfect rating. And I was like, I don't think he's that good. I started calling him mid-Ewers instead of Quinn Ewers. I said he got those interceptions in games when he
Ewers.
shouldn't. And then Dylan Gabriel gets drafted before him. I love it. He has a whole career at Texas in which he loses when we're just fielding a team together next year. Whenever we finally have a full squad, he loses. When we don't have our guys, they beat us. It's pretty much the common theme with OU Texas whenever we've lost. Then he goes to the league, or then I'm having to hear people like, oh, he's going to be a top first round draft pick. I'm like, no, he's not. Okay, there's certain things that are just obvious. That's one of them. That's obviously one of them.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to race Usain Bolt, you probably don't want to bet on me. Now, again, I've never raced him. We don't know. But I'm just saying, there are things that you just see that are obvious.
Okay.
When I see a guy floating a deep out at 15 yards, I'm not going to be an NFL player. By the way, Kellen Moore was on the video with Billy Bowman. This ties into the story I'm telling right now. I don't mean to just branch that in out of nowhere. He was at the Manning Passing Academy, in which my mother right here, who just said this, XOXO Sooner Girl, took me to him, my father. Kellen Moore was the quarterback challenge. They had a little skills thing for all the quarterbacks there. And he was the quarterback skills challenge winner. Andrew Luck,
So you're
I
saying
mentioned
you
every
didn't
time, was no, dude. I was going into my senior year. Andrew Luck was my 7-on-7 snapper. So was with him the whole day. It was kind of cool actually, and he ended up being pretty good, I would say. He was a pretty good player. Good player.
The guy competition.
Yeah, yeah. And so he won that. So like I've seen like elite quarterbacks. I know what they look. And I remember Eli Manning coming to our line. So they like the Peyton Manning brothers are there, and it was really cool because there was probably I don't know like 500 kids total, and then they split us all up into groups, and it was I don't know 3 or 4 days, and the Manning brothers would literally come train with you. They would get in your line and throw with you, or like Hakeem, New York Giants receiver, and I can't think of his name right now. Hakeem. Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyways, one of them, he was there. They all brought different receivers with them. There's a bunch. Austin Collie was there. There were a bunch of NFL guys, and I watched Eli Manning throw a ball 30 yards on an out route, and you could hear the laces 15, 20 yards down the field. And I was just like, that is like not even human. I don't know how people do that.
Different.
Yeah, seriously, you're just like, what is that? Even Peyton Manning, who wasn't even known for his arm, he throws, and you're just like, that's wild. And his brother was definitely could throw it harder, but. You look at that, and then you see like Quinn. I like no hate on him personally. I actually think he's a really good person and guy, especially based on his interviews. I think they're great. Especially he talks about his Christianity and his belief and all that.
Right. We said the worst thing about him was the fact he was a Longhorn.
Yeah.
Other than that, like great kid. But
Yeah, seems awesome.
we're talking soul. He is talking soul football ability.
Right. And also, let's not lie here. It's more important that I tell everybody why I was right.
Also, he just wants to be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Now,
no, please.
I'm also wrong. I just forget
Continue.
about those times. So, I've been wrong before. It's been said at least. But yeah, I don't know why people, everyone, it's kind of like you were saying with the Texas fan, or with everyone else. It's like, I don't know why people took it personal. I think Dylan Gabriel is a really good quarterback in college. I don't think he's going to have a long NFL career. I think his peak is like the Chase Daniel route, where he's a backup for 10 years. By the way, awesome job.
Right. No pressure.
No
all
pressure.
The money.
And if
no
I'm wrong,
CTE.
cool.
Less CTE.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't, like, now that they're in the NFL, I really don't, I root for all of them to do well. I really could not care less where they went to college once you're in the league. I really don't. But I just, I don't want I just love whenever it works out, whenever you can just see and you just call it like you see it. Now, I've been wrong before. Didn't think Caleb Williams was going to be that good in college. Now he's at the Bears, and he did pretty well. Early in the season, he struggles, ends up having a pretty good season at the end of it. What's wild, too, is people just don't know. Like, it's so weird how either the start of a season will confirm bias or the end of it will, even if it goes against what you believe, they just ignore it. Because he had a horrible start to the year, he did. And he made a lot of Caleb Williams.
Okay, sorry.
He just, like...
But also, you're talking about NFL?
Yeah.
You're going to the worst teams, too.
Yeah, yeah. And he tried to he tried to do the running around thing, and it's like there's so much faster and better in the league. Like, you just can't do a lot of that. And to his credit, he didn't do that towards the end of the year, and I thought he did a lot better. But like guys like that, you're just like, man, all right, wrong on that one. Didn't realize that was going to happen. Or you get people that just have refs in their pocket the whole career and they become Tom Brady. But there are also Tony Romo's, great Hall of Fame, probably the greatest quarterback to ever live, if he had an offensive line, and a solid defense every year, like Dak Prescott has, and still can't seem to get it done, even though he's in year 9. But hey, he'll turn it around eventually. Now apparently he's lost 45 pounds. I don't need you on Ozempic. I need you to find the end zone in the red zone. Okay.
Not Ozempic.
Just
45 pounds.
25. Yeah, like 40 pounds, I think.
That's insane.
It's like he's trying to turn like
of weight.
invisible when he turns, like that little. Remember Transformers, and that little like spy little one goes in and it's like turns into a CD and it's like almost invisible head on.
I've never really watched those movies.
That's what he's gonna look like in the pocket. Well, if it avoids sacks, it'll work. Whatever. All right. Well, we've ranted long enough. We've been going for an hour.
Anybody else have any comments on softball?
And yeah, that was awesome.
We
Sweet.
can just read them. If I'm the one reading your comments, that's not exactly me talking crap. So if you want to throw anything petty over, it was fun. And here's the thing. Texas has a good team. I'm not going to... They got Mia Scott. They got Reese Atwood, who is dang good at catcher.
Yeah.
Honestly,
she is.
If she had ever wanted to come to OU, I would gladly take her because, dang, she is so good. They got Mia Scott. They have Tegan Kavan, who apparently were her kryptonite, according to her ERA against Oklahoma. But she's a dang good pitcher. I'm not going to...
What was it,
say
2? And now she's
her
2 and
ERA
then
was
13
like 2
something?
against everybody else. And then against OU, it's like 13, which is insane.
That is
they have
wild.
Mac
That is
as their
wild.
pitcher. She's really good as well. So, I mean, they really did return good players. I mean, in theory, that would be like us returning Kinsey Hansen, Kelly Maxwell, Nicole May, Alyssa Brito. I mean, those are just, I'm going based on the position, not necessarily.
That was impressive. I was just going by names I knew.
Well, yeah, I was saying like catcher, third, pitchers, because that's who they
that's
returned.
right,
They
that's
returned
right,
the two
that's right.
pitchers, the catcher and the third baseman.
right.
They returned others as well. It's just, admittedly, I'm not the Texas softball connoisseur, but
Well, since you
so the
asked
fact
about
that we
it,
beat them and swept them
true.
is a very big deal. It also gives us a better chance of hosting the regional and super regional. It put us first in the SEC. I think we are 2 games up from second. We do go to Florida this weekend, which is going to be a tough game. We all know Jocelyn Erickson's still there, and she is dang good. What?
Randy said that he sent a DM of his 19-month-old granddaughter. Check her out on the Pump It Up song. That's
Oh
awesome.
my gosh, yes. I 100% will. And then it said she had
Randy, if
she may
we
have had more fun at the game than you and Chad had.
Randy, we'll message you. We might play it next week if it's something you wouldn't mind showing, because that's
Yeah.
kind of, we like showing that stuff about just fans
Right,
having
and
fun
that's
at games.
something we're gonna do when football season comes.
Yeah,
We did it for
absolutely.
the Alabama game. I tried to do it for LSU, but I think everybody was too upset to send me
Dude,
some of their stuff. But we want to see the fan experience. We want to like feature you guys, and
right.
especially those away games. Like we want to see your pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll ask for those, and I'll make little videos to share and add. But yeah, softball goes to Florida this weekend. We have 2 weddings this weekend. So
Talk about having running a speed offense, speedo. T and I got a wedding, by the way.
yeah, we've
Got
2
invited
weddings.
to 2 weddings. Can't help it. Just busy. Got invited to a wedding Friday.
Mm-hmm.
My boy Hobe's getting married. Congrats. And then we got a wedding in
3.5
Texas
hours away.
the next morning at 4:30 start time 4:30
Not the morning, the next day.
next day. Yeah.
We're gonna have to get
Oh,
up
yeah,
relatively early and to get down there. But yeah, Chad was streaming football games while we were at the Rockettes in New York City. So I think I can stream softball games during the weddings. So
Oh, you're talking about Georgia Tech?
yeah,
It wasn't for the whole show. It was for like the first 10 minutes of it.
No, it was for the whole show. You had it.
I did not have it for the
You
whole
100%
show.
did because it was that long of a game.
No.
It was still streaming when we got out and got back to our hotel.
Maybe. I don't remember. I don't think
I
so.
do because I was like, we're gonna get in trouble having your phone out in a theater, but we did it.
I don't think that's true. Because it went to overtime.
I
They
know.
went to 3 overtimes.
It was that long of
And
a
it
game
ended-
because Georgia Tech was winning like most of the game, so you were tuned in
Pretty sure.
to watch a downfall. By the time we got back to our room, it was in the last overtime and we finished it.
Maybe. I know I
It's
put
one
my
of those
phone
times-
away
remember
though.
how he's been wrong before?
What?
He's wrong.
don't know.
But yeah, so I'm probably gonna be streaming.
I think when we
After
got back to the
weddings.
room, we might have finished the game then. I think that's what happened. If you remember, do you remember?
You're not
'Cause
gonna
it's-
make it to the next episode if you don't let it go.
All right. Thank y'all for joining. If you don't see me next week, make sure to call Health and
Oh my gosh, that'd be so bad.
Child-
Child Protection
I almost said
Services.
CPS. Don't call child. Well, yeah, it'll be call somebody. I'm flustered right now.
It's fine.
Yeah, dude, someone clip that, please. All
I'm
right,
gonna say Chad, blink twice if you're okay.
seriously. Do
He's fine, guys.
you want to do the outro this time?
No.
Do you want? No. All right.
go
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining. We hope y'all had a good weekend. There's some storms coming apparently, so stay safe. I don't know. I heard there was a lot of talk at the lunch table today. We have like 7 people there, but a lot of talk about weather. Some person said no, some said yes. I don't know, but make sure to keep an eye on the weather. So other than that, we hope y'all had a good week.
Like the video.
Like the video.
Subscribe to our channel.
Subscribe to our channel.
Share the video if you feel so inclined. Stacy does it every week. Love you, girl.
Share the video.
Um,
Comment is probably the most important though. Comment on
yeah,
make a
definitely
comment.
on the video.
Tell us your favorite OU player. Do something like that.
Tell us how loudly you booed for Mike White.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Well, never mind.
Anyways,
Yeah.
you guys stay safe and have a good rest of your week. We will see you next Monday.
See ya.